Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and today I am here to talk about Maybe Midrash 2021 with my fiction pick. The Bell by Iris Murdoch. This is a novel originally published in 1958. Iris Murdoch is a very well-known British novelist and philosopher. She's been often called a philosophical novelist, although she prefers to be known as just a simple novelist. She is very concerned about how to live humanistically in a world of accelerating change and declining moral ethics and faith values. And this novel that she wrote is set in this place called Imber Court, which is a country house in Gloucestershire, and it's the home of a small Anglican lay religious community. Imber Court is run by a man named Michael, a closeted homosexual. And in this community, there is also Nick and Catherine. Catherine is a novitiate to become a nun. Also is Toby, a young man who is going to be going off to study at Oxford later in the year. Michael and Toby have an affair. Now, coming into this community are Paul and Dora. Paul is a researcher doing research on the premises, and Dora is his wife. The novel actually starts with Nora in London going off to rejoin Paul because she had run off earlier to have an affair with a man named Noel, but she had decided to break off that affair and return to her husband at this Imber community. And she takes the train down and meets him. And she is a rather clueless young woman. She brings flowers into her room, and the head nun has to tell her that we don't allow any sort of ornamentation in our community. We are an aesthetic community, and you do not bring flowers into your room. So she goes ahead and says, okay, I will not do that again. But it's clear that Dora is pretty much clueless for the most of the part. So then later, Paul tells her this story about a bell. Now, the Imber community is next to a lake, and across the lake is an abbey. And the story of the bell concerns the abbey. In olden times, the story was that there was a nun who had an affair, and she would not confess who her affair was with. And so the holy priest placed a curse on her, and the nun went off and drowned herself in the lake. And after she drowned herself in the lake, the bell, which was named Gabrielle, when it was ringing one day, flew off the steeple and fell into the lake and was never found. Now Toby, who is the young man having an affair with Michael, goes to the lake to swim one day, and he's all alone, and he dives into the lake. And one of the things that the swimmers like to do in lakes a lot is to dive to the bottom of the lake and touch the bottom, get a handful of mud and feel the bottom. And he does that. And when he touches the bottom of the lake, he feels something large and metal. And then later he confesses or tells Dora in secret about his swimming and feeling this object at the bottom of the lake. And Dora recalls the story of the bell and decides, yeah, this is the bell. We found it. Dora gets it into her mind to play a hoax on the community. It just so happens that the abbey across the lake is installing a new bell, that they've got it ordered and it's being shipped, and it's going to be installed over the next few days. And what she wants to do is to swap the new bell for the old bell and have everyone claim that it is a complete miracle about the restoration of this old bell. And that's sort of the crux of where the novel goes from there, is that, and this is how I interpret the religion of this novel, is that how ethical is it to play a hoax on religious people? These are people who have different values than some people. The character Noel, there's a character named Noel who is the man Dora had an affair with. And his basic comment was to Dora, don't believe any of this stuff. It's all a bunch of hooey. So Nora's decided, we are going to do this. So she enlists Toby to help her draw the bell out of the bottom of the lake in secret. Now, the only problem is that they're not too careful with their secret, that people hear them in the middle of the night trying to drag this bell out of the lake. And one of them is Nick, and he's the brother of Catherine. And I'm not going to get too much into the details because that's getting very plot heavy. But this is what the novel is about, at least this part. Now, I'm an atheist, so I don't have any religious beliefs, a lot like Iris Murdoch. But I totally am abhorred about the idea of Dora thinking that this is a good idea to do to someone. There is no value that she can gain other than to make other people look bad. And these people at this religious community are not bad people. They just have a different set of beliefs from mine and from Murdoch's and from Dora's and from Noel's. And that's kind of just where it stands. And the book revolves around how Nora goes from this basically ditzy young woman who comes up with a plan to fool this religious community, and how that unfolds, and that she can grow after this whole incident has finished. And I'll leave that for anyone who actually wants to read the novel. Now, one of the other things about this novel that I found very interesting is its treatment of homosexuality in the novel. This novel was, again, I said, published in 1958. Only a few years earlier in Britain, and I had to do some research to find this out, this Wolfenden report. And this was a committee about the homosexual behavior between private individuals was considered an offense at the time. And this report basically said we should decriminalize this. And that was published only a few years before this novel was published. And one of the amazing things about this novel is there is no condemnation of the character's homosexuality in this novel. There's one comment where they're talking about the Dora, and the quote was, "She did not judge." And Iris Murdoch did not judge. And she is letting the readers experience this, and basically including them say, do not judge these characters. And I found that a very interesting perspective for a novel published in 1958. And that's really all I want to say about this book. It's a very slow, plotting book. It is very well written. I found the characters all very interesting, but it is going to be a slog for some readers who want something a little quicker. But as I said, I quite enjoyed it, and I can recommend it for people who like this type of writing. So that's basically all I have to say. I know it's not really a whole lot, but it's been a very complicated book for me to think about and discuss. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.